It's Wednesday, November 21. We begin by telling you that President David Granger and First Lady Sandra Granger returned to Guyana from Cuba last evening after spending approximately 3 weeks there. Anira Khan has our first report.
The head of state, who was accompanied by his wife, had traveled to Cuba on October 30, 2018 to undergo a medical investigation. While in Cuba, President Granger was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after an intensive series of tests by specialist doctors at the Centro de Investigaciones Médico-Chirúrgicas in Havana. Given the diagnosis, the president's medical team performed a number of medical interventions, including a first round of chemotherapy treatment. The head of state responded well to the treatment and was given approval to return to Guyana. President Granger expressed profound gratitude to all those who sent their well wishes for his full and complete recovery.
More than $11 billion have been approved in the 2019 budget reallocations for current and capital spending for constitutional agencies. Paul McAdam has the details.
The approval was granted at the 99th sitting of the National Assembly on Monday last. Among the allocations approved, more than $340 million was given for several commissions for the period ending December 31st, 2019. Finance Minister Winston Jordan defended the allocation, which is more than $2 billion less than originally requested. He cited the country's economic outlook for the next year.
The lump sum of Supreme Court and all other agencies, constitutional agencies, had been arrived at, taking into consideration the economic outlook for 2019 as it relates to our revenue, expenditure, the growth in the economy, realization of the salaries, and our ability to borrow.
Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Amendment Bill number 1 of 2017 was presented and read in the House for a third time. Following allegations by opposition member Gail Teixeira, Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson remarked that had she attended more than 4 of the 18 Select Committee meetings held, she would have known that the bill is ICAO compliant.
One, that the bill is not ICAO compliant, sir. That obviously, sir, is if the member came to the meetings, attended the Select Committee meetings, she would have learned and agreed with us that the bill is ICAO compliant.
Amongst the 16 constitutional agencies whose capital and current estimates were approved are the Parliament of Guyana, the Auditor General's Chambers, and the Human Rights Commission. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Delegates from a number of countries, including Singapore and several African nations, were all present for the official opening of the 2018 meeting of the International Civil Aviation Organization at the Arthur Chang Conference Center this morning. Here is that report.
The Air Transport meeting aims to offer practical solutions to remove existing regulatory barriers to air transport liberalization. It also aims to finance the development of quality aviation infrastructure in North, Central, and South America and the Caribbean. Delivering the feature address, Prime Minister Moses Nagamootoo noted that the meeting comes at a time when Guyana's aviation sector is expanding.
You are meeting in Guyana at a time when our aviation industry has strengthened itself with a revised civil aviation law, which was approved by our National Assembly only on Monday last. The revision over the last 2 years has brought our law fully in line with the Chicago Convention and has enhanced safety and security provisions. Our aviation sector is moving in the right direction, and we are grateful for the commendation of ICAO, and it is growing. The figures were provided earlier in the informatics that we saw before the commencement of these speeches, that last year alone there were over 650,000 passengers who moved through our country.
ICAO's president pointed out that their organization's continued efforts to create air links between the African states and the diaspora will eventually result in significant social and economic benefits for both regions.
States must not only continue to improve compliance with ICAO's global standards, but also foster an operating environment under which the industry can enjoy dependable and sustainable profitability. Such efforts should include the liberalization and modernization of the regulatory framework for international air transport.
The three-day meeting will see the establishment of a collaborative mechanism between the African Union and the Caribbean. This will ensure implementation of a plan of action and achievement of agreed objectives, targets, and timelines. It will also establish a financial framework for aviation development in the African and Caribbean regions. This will be integrated into the African Union and Caribbean development plans. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams is currently in Barbados for the 48th CFATF GAFIC plenary and working group meetings being run from November 19 to 23. Minister Williams is heading Guyana's 9-member delegation, which comprises members of the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism and Proliferation Financing Committee, among others. He will chair the plenary where the mutual evaluation report of the Cayman Islands will be discussed with a view to be adopted by the plenary. Guyana's presence at this week's meeting and plenary provides an opportunity for the various representatives to liaise with their international counterparts and exchange ideas on how to improve compliance with the CFATF 40 recommendations and methodology. It will also allow the delegation to observe the CFATF's 4th round mutual evaluation process, as Guyana will be evaluated in 2022. In other news, the University of Guyana recently partnered with 12 other educational agencies from across the country to form the Higher Education Consortium on Engineering and Mining. Isaiah Braffett has that report.
This collaboration comes on the heels of Guyana's need to provide high-quality education and training, which is rapidly developing oil and gas, mining, and extractive industries. The joint venture will also explore new enrollment criteria for programs and serve as a center for harmonizing the efforts and sharing of resources among member institutions. UG's Vice-Chancellor Professor Ivelaw Griffith said in its preparation for petroleum engineering degrees, which commences in January 2019, the institution has begun hiring lecturers for the course.
It's important that as we pursue those journeys in preparing for forest, oil, and beyond, we build the partnerships with government. We build a partnership with international. We build a partnership with industry.
Professor Griffith said the university is conscious of the importance of moving beyond the first step and of the importance of having equal actions along the way to supplement those first steps in oil and gas. Other group members for the consortium include the Council for Technical and Vocational Education, Critchlow Labour College, Technical Institutes in Berbice, Essequibo, Georgetown, and Linden, and the Guyana Industrial Trade Center and the Ministry of Education. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Still to come, Guyanese diplomats applauded, a workshop on public procurement hosted, and World Children's Day observed. Stay with us.
If you or someone you know was having a heart attack, would you know the signs and what to do?
Hello, I'm not feeling that well. Can you pick me up and take me to the hospital, please?
Know the risks and signs. It saves lives.
Welcome back. Director of the Foreign Service Institute, Ambassador Ronald Austin, has applauded past and present diplomats for their sterling contribution to Guyana on the international stage. Delicia Haynes has the details.
Ambassador Austin was at the time addressing the University of Guyana's 10th Vice-Chancellor's Renaissance Lecture.
That creation of the diplomats that we produced allowed Guyana to become very strong and, for a very small country, as I said, quite powerful in terms of influence on the international stage.
The ambassador added that while Guyana does not possess the influence of countries such as the United States of America, the United Kingdom, or France, it does have the ability to formulate solutions to problems at the United Nations Commonwealth and within CARICOM.
So in this great international area, at different levels, I won't repeat them, at the UN, CARICOM, United Nations, we've done exceptionally well. And that's mainly because I believe that our diplomats were committed to what, to the belief that they should serve their country, serve the country well, and to do their utmost to make sure that this country survives and progresses.
According to Ambassador Austin, Guyanese diplomats have also significantly contributed to the creation of CARIFTA and CARICOM. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
As Guyana moves towards 21st century public financial management, the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, in collaboration with the IDB, hosted an evaluator training workshop focusing on the area of public procurement. Anara joins us again.
Delivering opening remarks at the Guyana Marriott Hotel this morning, Chairman of the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, Berkeley Wickham, told participants the legal framework for procurement in Guyana is changing.
And among other areas, there will be new methods of procurement. And evaluation criteria will become more specific and perhaps a little more complicated. Now, what I have said so far is not intended to scare you, but in the real world of Guyana, you will find that while in the past the evaluation process may not have been challenged, you should never confuse poor but untested past practice with proper practice.
Wickham reminded that procurement decisions are the subject of public audit and continuous evaluator training is essential. IDB procurement specialist Ivan Gaviria noted that with the advent of all the expected economic changes in Guyana, workshops such as these are crucial.
With everything that is upcoming in the country, big changes, looking towards the future, and also just ensuring that public procurement and the processes therein, evaluations, etc., are maintained with the principles of fairness, impartiality, and transparency. I think that the workshop is going to be very beneficial.
The two-day workshop will engage and inform participants from various governmental organizations across Guyana on the general principles of tender evaluation. For InfoHub, Anara Khan.
UNICEF country representative to Guyana and Suriname, Sylvie Foyer, has called for more provision to be made to allow young people the opportunity to voice their opinion on matters that affect them. Foyer was speaking at the observance of World Children's Day on Wednesday. Here is that report.
We're here to hear your voices and your asks. We celebrate the young people and their lives, and we stand for the rights, as you said.
Aliman Nazir, chairperson of the Right of the Child Commission, says the organization, in partnership with UNICEF, has offered opportunities to youths that form a critical part of their education in shaping their ability to champion and advocate for human rights in Guyana.
The RCC, over the years, enjoyed a fruitful partnership with UNICEF in promoting and advancing the rights and interests of children in Guyana. We do look forward similarly to a healthy and vibrant future of partnership intended to activate and actualize the ambitious declarations enshrined in the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child.
In her address, Youth Ambassador Esther Marslow highlighted the importance of UNICEF.
UNICEF is important as it helps to give children that are vulnerable a platform to be strong. For those without a voice, and for those who are living in despair, hope. While 47% of the world's population is made up of children, 100% of our future is the children.
Launched in 1954, the annual observation of World Children's Day aims to improve child welfare worldwide, promote and celebrate children's rights, and promote togetherness and awareness amongst all children. Neola Diman, InfoHub.
And your tip of the day is, going green can be as simple as switching to LED light bulbs in your home. You can be saving energy and reducing your utility costs. Save energy, change those bulbs. That's all for this evening. Connect with us on WhatsApp and social media and follow our website at dpi.gov.gy. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.